exercising to fix your body is not really that difficult. You just don't know how to do it yet. My name's Dr. Thor. I've been a chiropractor for the past 4 years, and I've been on a journey to rebuild my own body for the past 10 years. You see, I currently believe that sports and athletics is very important for the development of the human body. I personally did not have the luxury of being in sports when I was a kid and only started working out once I reached my 20s. I've spent the last 10 years of my life rebuilding my body from the ground up because not only was I unathletic, but I also suffered from multiple severe injuries when I was a teenager. The first of which being a motorcycle accident where I broke my femur in half. The second was when I was working construction. I had to rip some steel off the side of a barn. Did that all day. The next day on a Saturday, I'll never forget it, I had the most horrid back pain that I had never experienced back pain before that. That was the first time I'd ever experienced it. But I remember even then, I was like an old man. I was leaned over and curled forward. The only thing I could do was lie down on my couch with an ice pack because I was just in so much pain. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, actually took me to a chiropractor. And that was after I'd already started college to become a chiropractor. The chiropractor gave me one adjustment. He did some vibration on my back and he sent me off. I didn't go back. It wasn't until years later when I was in chiropractic college that I finally got some x-rays taken of my spine. A funny story about that. The first set of x-rays I got taken was actually a leg length analysis at a seminar that I went to in my second trimester at chiropractic college. At that seminar, I discovered that my right leg was 12 millimeters longer than my left. It was then no surprise when I got my x-rays taken, and it was by one of the interns from the doctor whose practice the other seminar was at. He says, "When you did that class, did you have a short leg?" I say, "Yeah." "Oh, that explains it, because my spine was twisted like this. Because one of my pelvic bones was half an inch lower. As a result of that, my spine had done what it had to compensate so I could stand up straight. I ended up getting a lift in my shoe. Wore that for a couple years, got a new set of x-rays taken. My spine had straightened out. To me, I was convinced the body absolutely can and does adapt to its environment, and there are environmental situations that can cause the body to break down, that can cause the body to get worse, to get unhealthy. Because I'd also learned that I know the spine from the front should be straight, and the spine from the side should have curves. It's in this process that I was working out. I was doing bodybuilding at the gym in college. And it wasn't until I reached my last trimester during my chiropractic college career that I started in on a new workout program. One that was focused on not getting yoked or having big biceps, but pure function. It was all based on being more athletic and being stronger to suit that goal. And that program has shaped the past several years of my life as I've really made leaps and bounds in terms of progress when it comes to especially my legs, but also my upper body. It's the principles that I learned therein that I am about to teach you. Because I believe that working out and exercising to fix your body and to even bulletproof your body is not that difficult. You just don't know how to do it yet. So that's why today I'm going to show you a full upper and lower body workout using nothing but these two tie-down straps. Notice they don't even match, they're just random ones I grabbed. This tree and that park bench. So if you're willing to join me and you're ready to get your body moving with a focus on functional restoration and athleticism, follow me. I want to start with upper body because I feel like that's a great way to get warmed up, get your blood flowing. Now, this is all we're going to do. We're going to take the hook of our tie-down strap, So now I have my tie-down strap attached to the tree. I'm gonna do that with my other one here. And it doesn't matter which direction you go around. So that you have two tie-down straps attached to the tree. And now, all you're gonna do is you're going to turn around like this. You're gonna hold these out in front of you, kind of like you're doing a push-up, because you are. Get them even, and then just go down like this. When I do this, I'm feeling a strong stretch through my pectoralis major, or my pecs. The intention of this is to really stretch this muscle here. Now, I've been doing these for a long time, so I would actually have to make this more difficult. And the way you do that is just by going further down on the straps. And you just go here. Now be careful once you get lower and lower. Obviously it's a lot more difficult. But notice, even grandma can do this exercise. So we just come right about here. And this is very gentle, very simple, very easy. And it uses nothing but a tree and two tie-down straps. Anybody could access this for a matter of maybe $5 or $10. You could get these two straps. And there's really no other way to do this so easily. If I were to do a push-up on the ground, what does that look like? Can grandma do a push-up on the ground? Even on her knees? Probably not. This is something that's accessible and anybody can do it. And watch. We can do our back too. So all we do is we just turn around, we grab the straps like this, and we just lower back. Really feel a stretch in the shoulder blades, and then we pull ourselves back up. And we really lock it in here at the back. I just felt my back pop 3 times, just doing that. Really let it go forward. Notice I'm keeping my neck back, looking straight forward. My spine is nice and neutral. And when I say neutral, I mean my head's not forward like this. My head's not extended back like this. It's neutral. It's right here in the middle. I have a little curve in my neck. And grandma could do this. Anybody can do this. Now, once you get more advanced, you can go further back. And this is much harder. Boom. Now, ideally, maybe you would use some TRX straps. Maybe you would actually get some rings. You could hang them from above, and you could do the same exact thing. The reason I'm showing here with the tree and the tie-down straps is because I want this to be accessible to absolutely anyone. There's no reason that any person should have any excuse not to have their body in physical shape. We know that muscle mass is important for health, and that's why it's important that you do these exercises. And that was it. We basically just got all of our upper body, all the front, all the back. It's that simple. Next thing we're gonna do is start working on the lower body. The lower body is not as simple. You got your ankles, you got your knees, you got your hips. There's a few more steps to it. So make sure that you're paying close attention, because the lower body is even more important than the upper body. Because without your lower body, it's pretty difficult to move around. Then again, I shouldn't say it's more important. Okay, let's just edit that part out. Okay, because the lower body is even more prone to injury and dysfunction. Because the lower body is really where the magic happens. Okay, so next, notice we're still using our tree here. Notice we're still using our tree here. And all we're gonna do is lean up against the tree just like this, with our bottom against the tree, our feet flat on the floor, our back is straight, but our hips are at about a 90-degree angle. And all I'm gonna do is just pick my toes up. This is exercising the front of your lower leg. The front of the ankle is not something that's usually exercised by most people. However, it is naturally exercised. I guess I should say, the lower ankle is not something that's normally exercised intentionally like this. No, it's becoming more common. However, it's naturally exercised when you're running and you go to slow down. The front of your ankles is actually what slows your foot down when you plant your heel. It slows your foot down, and that also really protects your knees. So that's why this is the first exercise we do, is because this is really the first line of defense when it comes to knee pain. Credit that quote to Ben Patrick, also known as knees over toes guy. Now, we're gonna do 25 straight reps of this, so we get a nice burn in these lower legs. Notice we're right back at our tree where we started with our upper body workout. And we're just gonna lean our bottom against the tree, bend our hips in a 90-degree angle, keep our back a little arch in there, keep it straight, and then we're just going to lift up our toes. This is getting the front of your lower leg and the front of your ankle. This is not an area that's oftentimes isolated and intentionally exercised in this way. However, it is naturally exercised anytime you're running and you go to slow down. It's this muscle that actually does that. Because of that, this is actually one of the first lines of defense when it comes to knee pain and knee impact. I credit this knowledge to Ben Patrick, also known as the knees over toes guy. It's actually his system that we're using now. This is known as ATG 0. So we're gonna do 25 reps if you're counting, because I lost count. And once we're done with the front of our ankles, that's when we're going to switch to the back of our ankles. Now we're going to do this in two positions. First, we're going to just come to the tree. We're going to bend both of our ankles, but we're going to keep our knees straight. And then we're just going to do a nice calf raise. This is simple. Most people have probably done something like this before. But where you really want to focus is on getting that stretch. So if you have to come back a little bit further, you want to get a nice stretch through the top of your calf. So I'm feeling this right in here. And same thing, we're going to do 25 reps of this. And you might feel this in places other than your calf. That's good, that's okay. Notice that as one of your weak points. And it should be really burning by the time you get to 25. And notice I'm keeping my shoulders down away from my ears. My spine is neutral. I'm pressing against the tree with my chest muscles mainly. Yep, really feeling that in my calves. Wow. Okay, that was good. Next, we're going to do another round of our toe raises, also known as tibialis raise. And you can make this easier just by moving your feet a little bit closer to the tree. That makes this easier. Another thing is, if you're doing this in shoes, especially if your shoes have a bit of a heel to them, it's going to make this exercise more difficult. I recommend doing this either barefoot or in nice flat shoes. That'll make it a bit easier on you. And the reason we do this one twice is because this is a very under-exercised muscle in most people. Remember I said that this is how you exercise it. If you've been doing this, I applaud you. If not, how often do you run and then slow down? For a lot of people, especially a lot of older people, they might not run at all. And that's why, remember earlier I said, athletics is important. Even later in life, that's a major thing. Like, think about it. If you never run and slow down, this muscle never gets exercised. Is that crazy? And we wonder why people are wasting away, especially some of our older people. Because they don't have the opportunity to move like this because they don't know how. And that's where there's another muscle that seldom gets exercised if you're not running. It's actually the muscle down here at the bottom of your lower leg. It's called the soleus. And it actually is one of the strongest muscles in terms of pulling strength in your entire body. It pulls right here on your Achilles and it extends your foot like this. But it mainly only works when your knee is bent like this. If your knee is straight, your upper calf muscle right here is going to be more working. So, how do we actually exercise that? Well, we're going to use our tree again. We're going to bend our knees. We're not going to bend our hips. We're just bending our knees. And then we just extend through. We go up on our toes. This is a knee over toe calf raise. Another signature of knees over toes guy, who I recommend. He's amazing. We're going to do this 25 straight times. Now, a lot of people are going to want to do this and bend their hips too, and then be doing this thing. Do your best to keep your hips straight just like this. Lean into the tree. You can also use a wall for this. Now, to some people, this will be really easy, especially people who run a lot. If that's you, go ahead and take one of your feet, just put it right on the back of your ankle, and then you can do the same thing on just one foot. And this is going to be more challenging. You can even do one foot, and you can hold a weight. Amazing. So we already did 3 exercises, and all we've done so far is our ankles. Now it's time to start getting up into the knee. Now when it comes to the knee, we want to make sure that we're very warmed up, because the knee is a large joint. There's a lot of possibilities for inflammation and misalignment. And that's why the first thing we're going to do is very gentle, very simple. Put your hand against, this could be a tree or it could be a wall. Just stick one of your feet straight out like this. And all I want to do is bend this knee until my heel touches the floor, and then I straighten it. That's it. Now what you don't want to do is this. You don't want to bend your hip and go back that way. That's not what we want to do at all. Just bend your knee. You should come forward slightly and touch that heel to the ground. And I'm using the tree just for balance. And I'm feeling this. This is right in the front of the knee. And you oftentimes will see people with knee issues. What is usually their problem? Going downstairs, going downhill. So that's where, when you exercise the front of your knee in a controlled fashion like this, then that's where you're going to start. Another quote from Ben Patrick, putting money in the bank in terms of strength and ability. We're going to do 25 of this exercise on each side. I lost count again. And do the other side. And you're definitely going to notice, some people, that one side is more challenging than the other. I recommend doing that side twice. There we are. Good, good. All right, our knees are now nice and warmed up. So it's time to begin with long range. So that's what we're going to use our park bench for. So all we're going to do is place one of our feet on the bench. We're going to stand just on our toes here in the back. And then we're just going to bend this front knee all the way. See how my hamstring fully covers the calf there? You need to make sure that that hamstring fully covers the calf. Full coverage here. You want to get that full knee coverage. If you're not getting this, you're not properly doing this exercise. Now, for some people, doing this on the park bench may be very difficult because of this back leg. Now, if you'll notice something, you can do this, and you can actually keep this knee more bent, and that will actually take pressure away from this hip. You don't necessarily want to do that because most people's hips are very tight from using this bench, sitting down like this. So when we do this, we're not just strength training this knee, we're also strength training and stretching this hip. Watch. See how far that hip has to go back to do this motion? So that's why this is the ultimate in body bulletproofing and I think reversing the effects of sitting, because it reverses one of the major effects of sitting, which is tight hip flexors. Now you're going to want to do this on both sides, but you usually don't want to go back and forth right away because it does get both sides. So when you're in the middle there, taking a little break for 30 seconds between sides, you can juggle. I really encourage juggling. I had a coach online. He trained high-level athletes, like some of the top-level rugby players in the world. And he was very encouraging to practice juggling as a means of athletic ability and longevity. Imagine if you can juggle 5 balls at 80 years old. You're going to have certain skills that some 80-year-olds will lose. Manual dexterity, coordination, balance. Your body will adapt to situations, so give it situations to adapt to that are going to be favorable for your longevity. Juggling. Split squat. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to do 5 more sets of this. I want you to do the same thing. And then you'll join me as we move from the knee up into the hips. Okay, so I'm just doing my last set here. I wanted to show you what this looks like directly from the back, because there's a common thing that I see people do, and it is this. They turn this back foot out to the side like this. See how my ankle is this way and my toes are that way? What I want is for my foot to be straight forward and back, just like this. That way I'm going to get a maximal stretch right here in this hip. I'm not cheating out to the side like this. I'm keeping it straight forward. Okay, so we got to finish this up quick because my phone's about to run out of battery. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to use our same park bench, place our hands right here. Yeah. And then we're going to straighten one leg at a time. So all we're doing is straightening one leg and then straightening the other leg. And for some people, this might not feel like much of a stretch. If that's you, that's okay. Do your best to just do light pressure on the bench. And this is actually strength training for your hamstrings. Just the weight of your body alone. If you do this, and what I want you to do is 60 total reps. So 1, 2, and notice I'm holding it for about a second or two. 3, 4, and you're going to do this all the way up to 60. Now, if you're very unfit, and or if you're older, you can use something higher, or if you're really tight, use something higher. And what I want you to do is just put more weight on your hands, and then it'll be less weight on your legs. So that'll make this easier, and you can still get in your 60 reps, but it'll just not make it so you can't walk tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to keep going all the way up to 60, and then we'll see you back here. Next one we're going to do is for the hip flexors again, only this time we're going to be practicing strength. This position, sitting on the ground, like I'm doing now, it might be challenging for some people. Let's be real here. A lot of people struggle with mobility. If that's you, don't worry. What I recommend doing is just putting your hands behind you and just leaning back like this. If you do this, it makes it so your hips are more open, and you should be able to sit comfortably in a position like this. Now, if you have a hard time with this, you can even do this one in a chair, sitting in a chair. So go ahead and try this first, and if you can't, I'll show you the chair modification in a moment. All you do is you just keep your knee straight and you lift your leg. Now the other thing is I'm keeping my back straight. That's part of why I'm leaning back like this. So if you're here, you have to make sure that your shoulders are down and that you have a small arch in your low back. Your low back's not rounded forward, it's arched back like this. Here, let me show you again. You're not rounded here, your back is actually straight up like this. You have a little curve in your low back. And when you do it that way, you get more activation of your hip flexor here in the front. And we're going to do this 30 times. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 30, and you're holding for a second at the top of each one. And if this is hard for you, what you can do is not go up as high, so you can just lift a little bit. Just lifting a little bit, this totally counts. Even if you leave your heel sitting on the ground and you just pull up as high as you can, if your muscles are very weak, that may be you. Keep going and endure the challenge. You will get stronger. Now let's look at the chair variation, because I think this is important. Come right back over to our bench. And this could be any chair, right? And all you're gonna do is just lift your leg up. Now remembering to still keep your back straight, you're going to lift up your legs. Notice it's the exact same thing, but this is a lot easier because this knee is bent. So that takes a lot of tension off of the back of the leg. And you can do this exact same thing 30 times, hold for a second each time. Okay, last thing we're gonna do is probably the most fun and the most painful. Ready? Alrighty, so last thing we're gonna do is called couch stretch. This is another one that I learned from Ben Patrick. All these I learned from him, so he gets all the credit. Now, this right here is just some bands that I have, and they're in this little bag. You do need padding for your knee. A rolled up sweater, a rolled up towel, a pillow, any type of cushion. All those things could work for this. Note that that is one more thing you need, so I'm sorry I lied at the beginning when I said you just need the bench, the straps, and the tree, okay? But here we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this foot, we're gonna put the top of this foot right on the bench, and we're gonna keep this foot sitting right out here. We just put the top of this foot here. Now, note, it's good to have something right here, like a chair or anything to balance yourself. I could have scooted that trash can over here, but whatever. You can also use the ground. This is a little bit more tricky, but we're just gonna put our knee here on the pad. And this position right here might be a pretty good stretch in this back bent knee here in the front side. I should actually show you this side here. So, just like this. Now, even here, many people are going to feel a strong stretch right here through the front. You won't be able to come up much higher than this. And if that's you, I'm glad you're doing this stretch, because that means you really need it. And the goal is to continue to push that knee away, and you're not arching your back like this. You're keeping your back straight, and you're actually stretching right through here. Now, I've been doing this stretch for a long time, so I have a good amount of mobility through this position, but this is it. You just hang out here. for 30 to 60 seconds. If you want to be really cool, do 60. And then this is it. This is the last step. So notice what we just did. We just exercised every single muscle in our lower body. Yeah, we did. We also stretched many of those muscles as well, which is awesome because stretching is very good for your muscles. And we even reversed the effects of sitting by lengthening certain muscle groups specifically. Even what we're doing right now, this is reversing the effects of sitting. So if you're somebody who thinks that you can't do fitness because it's too difficult, you can't start, you're too far gone, I'm calling you wrong. And if you try this, you will be able to make progress. Because everything I just showed you, it's very simple, very easy. Now you know how to do it. And I encourage you, be the best that you can be. Because there's only one of you. And this may not mean much, but I believe in you. So this is Dr. Thor, wishing you a wonderful day and signing off. Now get out there and get strong.